Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the Starting 11 prediction show. I am Paul Machin, and this, on this screen, is going to be my prediction for how Liverpool are going to line up against West Ham United. On Monday, obviously we know fixtures move back to the Monday, we've got a few days before that, which means anything can happen. All kinds of training sessions, all kinds of injuries. At time of recording, I think this is most likely based on some of the injury news from Klopp's press conference, which I'll talk you through as I go through the team. But of course, we're going to kick things off. And in goal, obviously, it's that wonderful, beautiful, sexy man, Alisson Becker. Look at him. Ah, he's magnificent. Isn't he just magnificent? Soak in the stats, soak in the pictures. There's, for me, at the moment, the best goalkeeper, certainly in the league, possibly in the world. Had a little bit of a sticky time against Leicester, twice now this season, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, been brilliant for us so far this season. You don't need me to tell you that, you know that already. Moving swiftly on, we're going to get to the right back position. James Milner, for me, back from suspension, back from his one-game ban, and I think almost certainly to go back into the side because, look, it's not outside the realms of possibility. Jordan Henderson could do this again, or we could see Rafa Camacho. I think he'll go with the more trustworthy, the more tried and tested. And I know to call James Milner tried and tested at right back is a bit of a stretch because I think prior to him playing there against Bournemouth, he hadn't played there for a decade. So there is that, but we know what he can do. We know he can get up and down the pitch. He's got good defensive instincts. He's very physical. He's very committed. And when he supports the attack, he's got a fantastic cross on him. I haven't spent so many years as a winger as well, so no. Very good to see James Milner there. Interesting there. 4.1 crosses per 90. Fine. That's... one thing we can say with absolute certainty is that that is a number of crosses per 90. We're going to move on then to the centre halves. I personally have gone with Dejan Lovren in for this one. I think Matip, at times, he had a couple of sticky moments against Leicester. I think that's to be expected, I think, with the way they play, of course. And obviously, Jamie Vardy's such a consistent threat. I don't mind Matip. I think Matip's decent. And I think in games where we're going to dominate the ball, and you need someone to make more of those vertical passes through the midfield, I think actually Matip is a better shout than Dejan Lovren. However, when you've got games where you maybe need a bit of heroism, you need to be booming headers out, etc., etc., I think this is Lovren. And to be fair, he hasn't had a game for a few weeks because of injury. He needs to get back into the swing of things. I think this is as good a game as any. But honestly, I kind of think I think Lovren's probably slightly better than Matip, generally speaking, but because he's had more of those big performances for us. But really, I kind of think it's much of a muchness, to be honest. So moving on, of course, he's going to be partnered in the centre-half position by that other big, beautiful man, Virgil van Dijk. What more can you say about him? Look at these stats that he's got there. I can only imagine they're the best in the league because he is the best centre-half in the league. It's as simple as that. I don't need to research that. I don't need to look at that. I don't need comparisons. Don't care. Not interested in comparisons. It's Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, obviously. Virgil van Dijk, even if he's only half fit, I think he's going to start pretty much every game for Liverpool that he's available for between now and the end of the campaign. Perhaps if we engineer a situation where we've absolutely wiped the floor with Bayern Munich in the first leg, the one that he misses, maybe we leave him out. Maybe we leave him out for another one, just for a laugh. But other than that, no, it's always going to be Virgil. Left back, exactly the same, of course. Andy Robbo, not much you can say about that other than he is brilliant. I saw one or two, we had a tweet criticising, we saw a tweet criticising him after the Leicester game. Look, it's his mistake that leads to the free kick, which leads to the goal, of course it is, but massive shrug, players make mistakes, every single footballer makes mistakes. Virgil van Dijk has made more, I think fair to say Virgil van Dijk has made more mistakes for Liverpool than Andy Robbo. I think, you've got, it's proof that, look, it's just, as if we needed it, there's just loads of weirdos out there. Andy Robbo, of course, left back. We're going to move on. Now, I have gone for, we've played 3 formations this season, and this is certainly one of them. I'll explain it more in a moment. Fabinho, I'm putting him back in midfield if he's 100% fit, and I feel like that was the reason why he didn't start against Leicester, because we know he'd missed a couple of training sessions through illness. I think if you're going to rush anyone, because the same was true of Van Dijk, you're going to rush Van Dijk, definitely. We had enough depth there to cover the absence of Fabinho. We were a much better outfit when he came on the pitch. it's those in tight situations, his ability to pick that sort of mini diagonal ball out from just the left-hand side of the centre of the D to an on-rushing, whether it's winger or right back or whatever, is a real asset. So no, I really want to see him back in the midfield, and I want to see him back in the midfield alongside. Tom, not paying attention. There it is. He's not that. It's fine. Gini Wijnaldum. For the only reason for this, I thought Wijnaldum was good against Leicester. I don't think it was his best game, but I thought he was the best of the three midfielders at the start of the game, certainly. I wouldn't mind putting Henderson in. I'd be perfectly fine with this. Would be Fabinho and Henderson. I've predicted it this way because of having had Henderson do the right back job. I think it's a bit more physically demanding. Just give him that extra little bit of rest. But honestly, if you told me it was Henderson, Wijnaldum, you told me it was Wijnaldum, Fabinho, you told me it was Fabinho and Henderson, I'd be just as happy with any of those combinations in midfield. Slightly less so with Naby, unfortunately, although I think we're starting to see little flashes of him. If he wins that penalty or he scores it without being fouled against Leicester, then we may be already talking about him having taken a major step towards really, kicking his Liverpool career on. But for me, no, I have gone for a 4-2-2-2 formation here, which means, thanks Tom, Shakiri on the right wing-ish. I mean, we're talking. It's wingish at times. So it's 4-4-2 when you need it. We saw Liverpool do this against West Ham away last season, and Oxlade-Chamberlain played in that game. It means that it's 4-2-4 when you need it to be, or it's 4-4-2 when you need it to be, or you can play Mane and Shakiri as pseudo 10s if you need to be, etc. So no, Shakiri, I think he's been in pretty poor form of late, to be honest. Though certainly the poorest form he's been. If he'd started the season the way that he's been in his last, three appearances, we'd all been like, oh God, what have we done here? But he has built up a bank of credit because we know what a danger he can be. And this is the kind of game where I think he's going to have, or can potentially have, a very telling impact on how Liverpool line up. And yeah, as you kind of figured from what I've said already, moving on to his partner, I guess, in the next line of midfield is Sadio Mane. Just seems to be starting to... He's still frustrating, isn't he? But I think it feels like he's clicking to a goal-scoring form, if nothing else. Took his goal really well against Leicester, of course. And another one, this feels like another really good opportunity for him. We saw how badly we hurt West Ham on the counter-attack again last season. He's going to be pivotal to that if he's playing slightly deeper as a result of the formation, whether it's 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-2-2. He's going to be much more of the guy who does the running from between, centre mid, the halfway line, and supporting the attack, Mo Salah, etc. So no, I think Sadio Mane, and look, quite obviously then leading to the forward line, first and foremost, we have got Mohamed Salah. Obviously, doesn't need describing there, but yeah, I don't think this is a game where we'll play 4-3-3. I don't think it's a game where we'll have him right wing. I do think this is a game where we're gonna have him very much leading the line, and in support of Mo Salah is obviously therefore Roberto Firmino. Obviously. Really good to see him of late. I think he's taking a bit of criticism. He's playing a bit deeper. I feel like this is a game where we might see him start 10-ish. So we could, it could be a pseudo 4-2-3-1, 4-2-2-2. But when we really want to push up a gear, you'll see him go up a level. You'll see him far more alongside Mohamed Salah. Well, look, let's have a quick look at how I've lined that up before I get too much into it, of course. And yeah, nominally, as I say, you could describe that as a 4-4-2. You can describe it as a 4-2-4. But again, don't be shy. Don't be shocked. I mean, don't be shy by any means. Don't be shocked if you see Roberto Firmino start more in the hole, start in a 10, as we've seen a lot of him there this season. But as I say, when Liverpool really want to grind West Ham down, if we're looking to really push home the advantage, it will be like this. Firmino will be looking to get him behind him. That's where he's been getting his goals of late. He's been getting more and more into the box, causing problems. He's a fantastic centre forward, isn't he? And I feel a little bit like Roberto Firmino has been doing a job for the team this season in this new formation, and he's been doing it admirably. But he does need more goals, and the only way, a few more shots from outside the box, maybe. But realistically, Mo Salah is surprisingly good at holding the ball up. I want to see these be far more in tandem as an attacking pair rather than everything entirely funnels towards Salah. But look, ultimately, if Salah gets a couple of early goals and Liverpool go on and cruise this because he is just the focal point, will we be asked? No, we won't. Tom, have you got some thoughts or comments for me?
I do. Sidney Fisher says, I thought Henderson was fine at right back. Milner got destroyed by Zaha, and now he's up against some other quick players.
Yeah, no, it's a decent enough point. Henderson's probably a bit faster than Milner, isn't he? Like I say, take your pick really. It's more just that I think we might need to bring Henderson into this game to manage this game a little bit better. And for as much as there is criticism of Jordan Henderson, I thought it was actually, if anyone's watched Klopp's press conference, the way Klopp talked about Henderson was absolutely fantastic. He could have his 300th Premier League appearance coming up, and they were asked, what's your opinion on, because some people don't like him, and he said, well, I can't change anyone's opinion, but look at the amount of games that Jordan Henderson has played for me since I've been here. That should tell you everything you need to know about how highly I rate Jordan Henderson as a player. We will need that, and I think because Keita hasn't quite kicked on as a centre mid, or in any position really for us, we might need Jordan Henderson to come on and up the tempo and play a few more raking passes or whatever to try and cut things open. And if he's already on the pitch, I think that limits us a bit. Whereas start Milner, and if you need to go more attacking down there, you throw Camacho on in that regard. So yeah, it's an interesting point. And like once again, I actually did think Jordan Henderson did really well in the right box slot in very trying circumstances as well. So one or the other really.
Liverpool FC Justice for the 96 says, Keita is class in centre mid. He's been unlucky so far, injuries and being played in left mid. Let's play our £40 million player who we were excited about for ages in his own position. He wants to see him in the team, basically.
Yeah, I know, and me too. But unfortunately for Naby Keita, it means him coming in the team in place of Gini Wijnaldum, who's in much better form than him and has earned his right. I mean, it was night and day. Look at the Gini Wijnaldum looked like a senior, borderline world-class footballer, and Naby Keita looked like some kid who just didn't really quite know what he was meant to be doing when he was playing in midfield Leicester. And it's still early days. I'm not looking to destroy Naby Keita, by the way. I think he's going to go on and be a very good player for Liverpool. But the balance that we've got right now is that, how do you turn around to Gini Wijnaldum, Fabinho or Jordan Henderson and say Naby Keita's coming in for you? You'd be like, well, why? Because as much as I want to see him get up and running, I've got to think about my own career. And those lads all deserve to play in the centre midfield far more. What Keita needs to do is he needs to take those opportunities better when he gets handed them. Look at Xherdan Shaqiri, is the prime example of that. Didn't start this, wasn't a starting player for Liverpool. We were all wondering where he was going to get his game. He started to get off the bench, but he was having tangible impacts. He was making a difference. He was creating goals. He was scoring goals. He was hitting crossbars with free kicks. He proved his worth as that type of member of the team. And Keita is in that similar role in the team right now because he's not a nailed-on first-team starter. He needs to do more with the opportunities he's got. There's no point saying he needs 90 minutes in his best position. Yeah, sure. But how's he going to get that if he doesn't prove himself in the opportunities that he's given? Because the other lads are absolutely are proving themselves in that regard. So it's a tricky one. I agree. I think Keita needs to play more football, and I wouldn't be against, albeit it's out of his position. I wouldn't be against, because if we're looking to play on the counter-attack and need a bit more pace, putting Mane on the right and putting Keita back on the left, and that'll make people's eyes roll because Keita is better in midfield. Not really, no, for us. Not enough base of evidence to suggest that. So he needs to get on the pitch and he needs to have impact. And I think what we want Keita ultimately for is being that extra man supporting the attack. We saw it against Spurs in the chance that Mane laid on for him that he ultimately missed. Roberto Firmino drops into midfield, and yet we still have 3 or 4 at times if you've got a fullback. Guys, pressing the opposition box, looking to make things happen. That's what Keita's supposed to be for. The theory, I think, is that he should be able to do it further up. But either way, he's not performed truly in any position. He's been probably arguably, though, slightly better in midfield, centre mid, than he has been on the left-hand side. So, yeah.
A lot of people rating your shirt, Paul, asking, did you come into work like that?
You know what? I actually didn't come into work like that. I have a collection of my favourite Liverpool kits in my office. And I was wearing my Germany jumper. And I just thought, it's a nice chill day today. I just don't need the hassle. So no, I had an Olympiacos shirt and a Germany jumper, and so I changed into me Liverpool 94 away shirt instead.
Chris says, bring back the Bayern top.
Oh yeah, it'll be back. It's not gone anywhere. It's in the wash. I've got 2, so odds are. I've got loads of footy shirts. It is what it is. We want to see the footy shirt room in here.
Magic Mastermind says, only want to see Shakiri as a sub.
That's a good point. I think that's a very good point made. Like I say, Shakiri, does he have the same level of impact starting football matches? Because my concern when you start Shakiri, let's say it's 4-2-3-1 or whatever, is you've got your 4 best attacking players on the pitch from the start. Where'd it go from there? And this is the problem that we had in the Leicester game. What are you bringing on? Particularly, we're Keita on as well. So we had we had all the good attacking lads on the pitch. How, if you need to go hard, you need to go a stage further. What do you do? Because you bring in Daniel Sturridge on, Divock Origi and Adam Lallana, and all in the day. And if you gave them all 5 to 10 games solid to get up to form, they'd all be absolutely fine in completely different ways for us. But we can't, we're not, and they're not. So that's the big issue. And I actually do tend to agree on the Shakiri stuff. This just feels like a game where I don't think West Ham are going to come in and are going to sit there and defend for their lives. They will have a bit of a swing for us. Obviously, Felipe Anderson, fantastic player. Arnautovic, I really like Marco Arnautovic. I think they will be a little bit more attacking. So it does make sense that we can maybe look to be a bit more attacking ourselves to get them finished off. But, yeah, no, again, if Keita was in better form or improved himself a bit more in those, or we had another Mane style player in the team, then I could see, it would be easier to bench Shakiri, I think. But right now, on balance of form, yeah, that's why I've kind of gone with that.
You mentioned at the start you were going to talk through some of the injuries and that. Becky Connell says, sure. Trent Alexander update, how long away is he?
So, Klopp was talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold. Thank you very much, Tom. Trent is getting closer and closer and closer, but he's not fit for this game. Klopp expects him to be back in full training next week, so that leads me to believe he won't even be featured on the bench at all on Monday, unless it's an extra early thing and he maybe comes in trains on Sunday and then he's there or thereabouts. So yeah, Joe Gomez, still no return date on Joe Gomez. He was asked the question, Jürgen, whether he'd be available for Bayern, and his answer was no. And then when he was pressed on it, he wouldn't give any further information. He was asked sometime after that, and he laughed and said, yeah. So no updates on Joe Gomez, other than there is no news really. So again, that's why it leaves us in that situation where once again you're left with Milner, Henderson, Fabinho, maybe Wijnaldum, Camacho as your backup options for right back. It's not a problem. It's going to be fixed straight away. You imagine what Bournemouth will be the best chance Trent's got of starting a game for us. But even that might be if he's only starting training that week. You're probably looking at getting that break and then getting him ready, 100% ready for the Bayern Munich games. Really. Other than that, I feel like we're injury free. Klopp didn't mention anything else. So yeah, that is how it is. One more comment, Tom?
Alex Otten says, looks like a quality idea for the starting side. Unfortunately, Klopp will never play the 2 up top.
He's done it loads.
He has done a few
times.
Done
it loads this season. That is away team. That is away lineup, certainly. Bournemouth away, that's what we did. Again, going back to last season, we did it a few games. West Ham away was the first time we did it last season. We do. I mean, again, it's not a traditional 2 up top because it's not big man, little man, and they're one on the shoulder and one doing the flick-ons and whatever. But watch when Firmino does his, obviously you'll see Firmino come deep into these areas between our midfield 2 and the pseudo wingers and whatever. You'll see him you'll see Salah do that as well. Don't be shocked if you see Mohamed Salah picking the ball up slightly deeper than the 10 and looking to drive toward the box to make things happen. So it'll chop and change. I say 4-2-2-2. Liverpool don't really play a formation. That'll be 4-3-3 when we need it to be. That will be 4-2-3-1 when we need it to be. It'll be 4-2-4 when we need it to be. It'll be 4-4-2. It'll be 0-10 if the game gets that way. It's about the approach, I think, as opposed to more of a traditional tactical layout. But there you go. Listen, thanks very much for watching. Drop a like on the video. I've got a video coming out on my personal channel about why everyone hates Liverpool and why we should all have a big laugh at that and point fingers and go ha at people who behave like that on social media. So yeah, get over to my channel, youtube.com/MaychTV, MaychTV. We'll link it at the end and in the video description as well. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. I shall see you all on Monday night.